I'd like to make just a couple of comments. Wanted to basically, there's a couple of things here. Someone outside asked me, how am I doing? And my answer was, I thrive on chaos, and so I'm doing really, really well. So that I think is what data and disruption is all about. I wanted to just say a couple of words about the IS Associates because I'm the sponsoring home or organization for them, and it's one of the best moves I made, and it's been about 4 or 5 years ago. Don, you can let me know what the time frame is. But IS Associates was established in 1978, so it's 39 years old now for those of you who don't know. That's actually quite a run on things. One of the things I like to say about the IS Associates is that it has helped me maintain my weight. And the reason is, most of you or everyone in this room knows you could go to an event, a restaurant, a conference, and so forth, literally 3 or 4 times a week. And the IS Associates, from my perspective, and I'm speaking from a CIO perspective, is so good. I lean on that organization by itself and go to most of the events, and I can actually not have to go to others. It is so good. The camaraderie, the subject matter, the relevance, and so forth is just fantastic. And I'm speaking from a very unbiased perspective. Jim Rinaldi's here. Jim Rinaldi from JPL. We joke all the time, but I can call Jim up and say, I've got a question, can you help me out with this? That's the kind of thing IS Associates is about. Another thing is this particular evening, this is the Executive Leadership Award. That was established in 1987. This is 30 years old. And I proudly talk about the ELA, and this is my 16th event, although I missed one in there, my 16th event, and I say that proudly. And the reason I can say that proudly is, age and saying things standing for a long time can go, may not be that great, right? But the point of it is this award is very, very relevant. And for those of you, if you've checked on the website, this is actually the inaugural event of new relevancy for this award, because we've extended it now not only to disruption in a company, but a startup and through the government. And so that is actually an example of IS Associates staying very, very relevant. So John, congratulations. Brian, congratulations. And then Mayor Garcetti and Miguel, right in front of me, congratulations on that. Hear much more about that. But the other thing is, what a great time to be involved with information technology that is extended to business and technology. That's what this is all about. And one other group I would like to call out, and I don't see them right now, but one of the things the IS Associates was instrumental in was an award that we got through UCLA, the city, and the Department of Energy, called the Clean Energy Smart Manufacturing Innovation Institute. And we actually have a significant group from that organization that is also an epitome of bringing information technology and business together. I can't see, but, oh, clear in the back there. There they are. So if you want to talk about that, they're there. But IS Associates was involved with that, and Rich Hoffman, when he's not fishing, was heavily involved with that, as well as Don Olander. But just remarkable kinds of things going on through this particular group. Finally, and the final thing I'd like to do is just recognize a few people. It's very important. Don Olander will speak at the end, but Don is our executive director and the leader that makes all of this from a program standpoint work. Davita Johnson over here, Rafi, who's been running around in the back out of my office, actually work closely with Don, make the programs really happen, keep the programs relevant. The people that were out at the desk, none of this works without them, but please, shake hands and say hi and thank Julie Chan, Zara Greer, and Maria Tanazawa. And then finally, there will be a person here who is not here right now, Joanne Fife. Many of you may know her. Joanne is kind of the lifeblood of this organization from the moment it came into my Office of Information Technology. Joanne is retiring from us and retiring from UCLA after many, many years, but she has been a mainstay for this organization, and I really would encourage you to thank her and say hello and so forth. Joanne has been quite fantastic. But with that, let me get off the stage, enjoy the rest of this program, and I will turn it over to the next person. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Davita Johnson. I'm the Managing Director for the UCLA Office of Information Technology, and I'm the Program Director for the IS Associates organization. And I'm the one who gets to make the announcement that there is no video recording of the event tonight. We appreciate that. But again, as Jim said, I work for Jim. This is a wonderful, awesome organization. It is a group of really good people who come together to share technology and to share stories and experiences with one another. So we're really proud of this organization. We're proud that it is part of UCLA as well. So with that, I just want to thank you and welcome all the honorees tonight, and hope to get to meet you later. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name's Debbie Simpkins. So Jim's such a great speaker, he's stolen most of my thunder tonight. But I'm the Executive Leadership Award Chair that led this year's committee's activities. And it was my first year to do this, and actually had a hard act to follow because Cindy McKenzie had done it previously for 10 years. So thank you, Cindy, for mentoring me through the process. And I was hoping, as I went to the first board meeting, I'd get some good advice on how to handle the executive committee. And I met a man named Bill Miller, who told me, welcome, Debbie, to the committee. We're so glad you're here. But you got some big shoes to fill, first of all. And secondly, this is one of the most difficult positions in the entire committee because you have to wrangle all of these opinions and come to consensus. So this year, it wasn't really difficult at all to wrangle our committee members because it's a fantastic set of folks to choose from this year. As Jim mentioned, we're in our 30th year. And we made some changes. First of all, the 3 categories for the awards you're going to see tonight, fantastic stories. Second of all, I'd be remiss if we didn't say hello to the students that are here tonight. If you could raise your hand. Yeah? The students actually participated in our process this year. They provided feedback through the whole process and actually provided the swing vote in one case, so thank you all. And in terms of our board, all of these programs would not happen without them, so I would actually like our board members and our associate chairs to stand, past and present, and give you all some recognition, please. If you can clear your mouths out. Just a fantastic job this year. It takes a lot of work to put these programs together, and this group did an exceptional job. Some new members to the team this year that brought extended value. And finally, our members. I see a ton of you in the audience today. Thank you all for coming. We do this for you. And we create these programs for you to be able to network, collaborate, and bring people together to come up with the best solutions in IT that we have to offer. So enjoy the evening tonight, enjoy your dinner, and we'll see you guys in about 20 minutes to resume the awards. So thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Susan Paskowitz, and like was mentioned, I work with Workday. So we cover the Southern California area, and I'm going to speak just very high level as far as Workday is concerned, and turn it over to the folks to introduce John, because that's what's most important. But Workday works with over 1,800 global companies, and we've been recognized by Forrester and Gartner as the best in the business for enterprise HCM and financial software. But it's our pleasure to be here and to introduce John Wallace. Thank you.
And I'd like to invite you up now. Thank you. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, please.
Thank you, Debbie. It's a privilege to be here tonight to recognize 3 visionaries for their passion, commitment to the use of technology within their organizations. To share a little bit about Laserfish and what we do, we build enterprise software that takes care of the details of your organization's information and processes. With Laserfish, processes are automated, and I can focus on the big picture. As a result, it is easy for me to take technology for granted, especially as the CEO of a software company where it is embedded in everything we do. However, business technology tools are sometimes seen as something we have to use, rather than something we are excited about. That's why the innovation we are celebrating tonight continues to impress me, even after the 3 decades I've been with Laserfish bringing great technology solutions to the market. During those 30 years, we partnered with many inspiring organizations to provide enterprise content management software for their businesses, including the City of Los Angeles and UCLA. If there's anything I've learned from these long-standing relationships, it is this. Los Angeles is unlike any other community in the world. It's a place where innovation happens every day. It's where we continue to push the boundaries of technology and its possibilities. Even when others have tried and failed or lost interest and settled, we from Los Angeles charge ahead. This spirit and vision is what we're here to honor tonight. Deluxe is an excellent example of that kind of boundary-pushing organization. CEO and President John Wallace has led Deluxe's transformation from a film lab into a global services and technology company. Today, the organization enables so much of what we watch on television, in theaters, and online. And Brian Mullins, founder of DAQRI, has transformed the way people work using augmented reality while wearing some very cool virtual reality gear. Of course, key in enabling this innovation has been the City of Los Angeles, with Mayor Eric Garcetti at the helm. His vision of open data, transparency, and a far more efficient government through the use of technology has set a high standard for cities around the globe. He's helped to infuse this forward-looking thinking approach into citizens' everyday lives. Tonight, these 3 gentlemen and their teams who support them are all deserving honorees of the IS Associates Distinguished Executive Leadership Award. We at Laserfish commend you for all you've accomplished and eagerly look forward to what is still to come. Thank you.
So thank you to Laserfish and Workday again. So I do have to acknowledge the Office of Information Technology and the folks that actually did the yeoman's work in putting together tonight's activity. So I'd like to particularly acknowledge Davita Johnson, Rafi Simonian, Joanne Fife, and Julie Chan. They have worked in last-minute changes, last-minute guests, and have worked over the last 4 months to really create this event for all of you tonight. So please join me in acknowledging them. So I told you how nervous I was about this committee, and the committee astounded me, and in terms of how collaborative they were, how knowledgeable they were, how far they reached to stretch themselves. They did way more work this year than they've done in past years. And so I would like to acknowledge the committee as well and have them stand if that's okay with you. So Don Olander, Trent Johnson, who's not here tonight, but he's awesome. Cindy McKenzie, thank you for your mentorship. Rich Hoffman, Ed Trainer, Thomas Phelps, and Davita Johnson again. So let's get to those awards. I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for tonight. He is the voice of business news in LA, and he's a friend of the UCLA IS Associates, which we're fortunate to have tonight. So please join me in welcoming Frank Botek.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, Debbie Simpkins. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to the entire leadership of UCLA IS Associates, Jim Rinaldi, Ron Gurrier, Davita Johnson, Jim Davis, Cynthia McKenzie, and the entire leadership team. It's a great honor to be with you again this year. I've attended the event year after year, and I'm amazed how it's gotten bigger and better every year. We even have an important soccer match going on right behind me tonight. Valet parking. It's amazing to see how things have advanced over the years. It's great tonight at the reception, meeting so many of you personally. We have people from all over the world here tonight, and some of you have come from as far away as Orange County, so you get extra credit for that. It was a horrendous drive up this evening, we all know. We see more smiling faces here this year as well, with the NASDAQ up about 30% over the past year. The market, till today anyway, was pretty much at all-time highs. We see the Dow down 101 points today, the S&P 500 down 10, and the NASDAQ down 39. And now the weather, partly starry tonight. Lows will be down to around 57. We're showing a beautiful 64 right now here in Westwood. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the many reasons I enjoy this event here at IS Associates is the purpose of the program: to lead the SoCal tech community with exceptional networking, quality professional education, and informed insights into innovative and disruptive technologies. ISA's programs delivered through close collaboration with world-renowned UCLA faculty, Silicon Beach entrepreneurs, and tech leaders from member organizations such as Fortune 500, mid-size enterprise, startups, public sector, and providers. This award ceremony tonight is the pinnacle event of the year to recognize and celebrate with family, friends, and coworkers a few of the most technologically innovative business leaders in the City of Angels. Now, this award recognizes the exceptional application of information technology toward the operation of the executive's organization through the leadership of the recipient. The award is given to a senior general executive who has brought information systems into the most strategic and high-level decision-making processes, as well as into widespread use throughout the fabric of their respective companies and organizations. So without any further ado, unless anybody wants any more ado, let's introduce our first award winner of the evening. This is the Executive Leadership Award in the Public Sector category. The City of Los Angeles has embraced the use of technology to drive innovation, and this is especially evident in the city's focus on data-driven policy and management and a number of key award-winning technology initiatives that have helped connect and deliver city services to this area. Among them, launch of a new 311 system and My LA 311 mobile app for city services, creating LA's open data portal, GeoHub, and Business Assistance virtual network, establishing the nation's first urban cyber intrusion command center. The City of LA and UCLA are key partners in the Department of Energy-sponsored Clean Energy Smart Manufacturing Innovation Institute Award and the location of its national headquarters right here in Los Angeles. The City of LA also continues to build on the work to use emerging technologies to better communicate with everyday Angelinos and drive innovation in transportation, public safety, sustainability, and economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me now in honoring the Honorable Mayor Eric Garcetti, the recipient of the 2017 IS Associates Executive Leadership Public Sector Award. Accepting the award on the mayor's behalf tonight is the Deputy Mayor, Miguel Sangalang. The Deputy Mayor was promoted in June of 17 to the post of Deputy Mayor for Budget and Innovation and coordinates general functions of the city budget, performance management, sustainability, technology, data, and innovation. In this role, Miguel also manages a portfolio of 5 city departments with more than 3,000 personnel. Born in the Philippines and raised right here in Southern California, he graduated from, guess where, UCLA, with a degree in Japanese and public policy. Please welcome to the stage accepting for Mayor Eric Garcetti, Deputy Mayor Miguel Sangalang.
So, first heard that there was a swing vote. I was absolutely hoping that that wasn't for the mayor at that point, but we'll discuss that later. I've been pumping every table now. I'm going to be pumping every table for information. Thank you for bestowing this award to the mayor, and on behalf of the mayor and the city of Los Angeles, it's a great honor to be receiving the award, especially since just 11 days ago was the anniversary of the birth of the internet right here in UCLA. It's no better place to have a party than the place where the party started at that point. And since then, UCLA and IS Associates have been not only continuing to develop and promote the latest technology, but also the leadership required to maximize the value of that innovation. So before I get started, though, I did want to share a kind of private interaction that I had with the mayor. I had actually worked for the previous administration when transitioned into his office. I had a portfolio of performance management and technology. And so I was briefing the mayor about technology as it relates to its status within the city. There's several articles that at that time had presented the mayor as the tech mayor for the city of Los Angeles. And I'd actually asked him, what do you think about that? And he looked at me, he smiled, and then he started laughing. And that's because at that time, he replied, being the tech mayor is like being the tallest building in Canoga Park. And if you know Canoga Park, it's mostly 1 or 2 stories, so it's no downtown at that point. I think that just goes to show how much kind of work we had to do moving forward. If you look around, it doesn't take much to see Los Angeles is actually at a point where it is reimagining itself. You can see driving down the freeway, so many different buildings going up, and the city itself preparing to welcome the 2028 Olympic Games and Paralympic Games. But I think that renewal goes beyond just the physical at that point. It goes into the digital. And for us, in December of 2016, we launched something called the LA City Skill, and that really integrated the public information and public meetings that we had into Amazon Alexa at that point. And just last March, we launched a chat bot that is actually named CHIP, so City Hall Digital Personality, not CHP, on our Business Assistance Virtual Network, and that was really to try and engage the people that are trying to get the business that the city is offering, and get them to engage much more on a deeper kind of procurement level at that point. This is highly important when you start thinking about all of the inquiries that are actually happening on Google. Nearly a fifth of it is voice recognition at that point. And then over 10 million devices, Amazon Echo devices, are installed throughout the country at that point, and it just continues to grow. So we're trying to really meet our customers where they are at that point. To keep Angelinos and their information safe, we've launched the Cyber Lab. This is beyond the Cyber Command Center. It's actually a first-of-its-kind public and private partnership that analyzes the more than 1 billion security-related events within the city of Los Angeles and over 4 million attempts every day into the city's networks. And what we've done is made a platform where other businesses can actually subscribe to some of the information we have. And right now we have 150 businesses ranging from 10 to 500 employees that are subscribing to our services. It's a big difference when you're not really a huge company that can always think about those types of problems, and especially since they're invisible. Now, we've also deployed an extensive sensor network throughout Southern California to pilot an earthquake early warning system, a system that would give Angelinos precious seconds, and depending on how far the actual earthquake is, minutes, so that they can get notice of the big one. I mean, if you just imagine that, where you have a few seconds and are able to stop the elevator or escalator at that point. If you're able to stop the highly flammable oxygen line that goes through hospitals at that point. And it's a matter of life and death if you're thinking about public safety. And now we're trying to work with the USGS to give that information via smartphone by the end of 2018. Now, I think what's really important, and this really draws upon what IS Associates and UCLA is about, is that the mayor could not have achieved this without the collective efforts of the 55,000 men and women that work for the city of Los Angeles and on a daily basis try and innovate within the city using the new technology that they have at their fingertips. They've led efforts like our award-winning CleanStat system, which has taken a model of response for cleanliness, looking at how we've addressed illegal dumping and waste. That's part of the act, so don't worry about it. That's part of the drill, just in case there was an earthquake or anything like that. But we've taken the information that we've gathered within our Bureau of Sanitation and transformed our services from a much reactive, complaint-driven system, a much more proactive, strategic way of managing how we handle our services. Because some places in LA are just still dirty, and we've managed to change it so that we've had about an 80% drop of what we considered dirty within just 1 year, just looking at our information and how we gather that information and how we deploy our resources. Our departments, as mentioned earlier, also maintain a first-rate open data system with 1,100 data sets. Not trying to compete with the county at that point, but just saying. And I think it's important because there's no monopoly on a good idea, and we've been trying to work very closely with our partners in the civic tech community to bring out better ideas and better solutions to some of the biggest challenges that we have, like homelessness and pedestrians and pedestrian and bicycling safety at that point. I think I really do want to thank our partners in business, nonprofit, and the academic sectors, many of whom are here right now, who have made all the efforts that we've done quite well, actually enabled many of our efforts so far. I actually have a picture. If we could fast forward, or is there any way to click? That was probably it. But just go ahead and skip. There's going to be a picture. A few more, please. A few more. Those are all related to the speech, by the way. Just a few more. One more. Okay. So I did want to call out Brian Mullins, the CEO of DAQRI, because we had the opportunity, and this is one of the devices, we had an opportunity to show off some of the work that's happening within the city in partnership with some of our colleagues in the private sector, where we've been able to drive down the amount of time it takes to train a technician to repair critical infrastructure that needs to go out back to the fire department. In fact, this one specifically was trying to train someone in the repair of headsets for the people that go into the fires at that point. And it dramatically reduced the rate of training at that point, I think about 17% or so. So this is very important, and this is actually a picture taken during the cabinet meeting when we were showing it off to all the other general managers who are now trying to figure out how we can subscribe to this type of thing. So just let me end by saying that it's fairly common for cities to be late off of the block when it comes to technology, and Los Angeles was no different when it first started. But I think a critical difference is really what the mayor has brought in terms of leadership, because that has been kind of the vision to lay out the rest of the city. And I'm happy to actually share with you all tonight that just earlier today, Los Angeles has won for the third time the #1 Digital City Award from GovTech for cities over 500,000. So that's a really big deal for us. I think it's a good indication as well. And finally, just one thing I think that's very important, especially when we're talking about technology, is as we look to the future, we really do want to make sure that everyone benefits from the transformative currents that are happening in technology today. And after all, if you're just looking at the city and the digital city itself, it's not really that great if there's anyone left behind. That's why we're so proud for the city of Los Angeles to have about 60% of its IT managers that are female, and 53% of its programmers female as well. And so we're looking to continue to grow that I'd be remiss. I make a plug in every single instance that I actually speak that, we're always looking for interns. We're always looking for people that want to get engaged. So anyone that you might know or want to share with me, there's Emmett on my staff and me as well. I mean, they can email me directly. I'm always looking for the people that's going to be changing the future, because I'm merely keeping the seat warm for the next generation at that point. So again, on behalf of the mayor, I'd like to thank UCLA and the IS Associates and the ELA committee as well for this honor, and looking forward to chatting with you all shortly after too. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Let's see which one is yours. I think it's that one.
Congratulations. Alexa, play I Love LA. I was on the campus yesterday at the California Summit, the Milken Institute California Summit, and somebody came up to me and said, reminded me that I had said something like, Alexa, do something, and his phone actually did activate. So can you imagine being on the radio and saying, Alexa, buy diapers or whatever, then we could start off a citywide frenzy for whatever is needed. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award recipient is the IS Associates Executive Leadership Award, Corporate Enterprise for 2017. And now please join me in presenting this award to John Wallace, President and CEO of Deluxe. John is joined tonight by his wife Pam and members of his executive staff, Deluxe COO Morgan Fiume and Deluxe CFO Robert Julian, Deluxe CIO Cindy McKenzie, and Deluxe CTO Alan Lampkin, as well as several others from the Deluxe Entertainment family. John Wallace is a 27-year veteran of NBC Universal, where he started as a member of the NBC Page program and rose all the way up the ranks to become the president of the television stations and president of the NBC-owned TV stations group. He's recognized as a leader in innovation and development of multi-platform network operating centers, media labs, and more. At Deluxe, he has driven the evolution of the company from a physical laboratory and distribution service to a digital global platform to service clients' content across the supply chain. He's elevated technology to be one of the key strategy enablers for the company and a key component of the company vision to be the most efficient media platform for content enrichment, delivery, discovery, and business insight. Congratulations to John Wallace. Thank you very much. And again, congratulations, John Wallace. See, they brought out the health food now. The desserts have come out. It's mental health food. And I have to say the desserts are superb. So if you haven't indulged yourself yet, please do so. Ladies and gentlemen, the final award of the evening now. Please join me in congratulating our next honoree, UCLA IS Associates Award for the Startup Entrepreneur category. This award was created to recognize the tremendous innovation and technology that is burgeoning all across the county of Los Angeles and throughout Southern California. This year's Startup Entrepreneur Award winner is an innovator who is relentless in the use of technology to empower people and unleash their full potential. Throughout his career, his entrepreneurial endeavors have leveraged mixed reality technologies to redefine what is humanly possible. As founder and advisor of DAQRI, an augmented reality company headquartered right here in the City of Angels, he created exponential change with products that transform human performance and level the playing field for millions around the world. He's frequently sought expert on emerging technology, and in 2016 was invited to speak at both the White House and the first congressional hearing on augmented reality. It's an honor now to award the 2017 UCLA IS Associates Executive Leadership Startup and Entrepreneur Award to Brian Mullins, DAQRI founder, board member, and advisor. Brian tonight is joined by his wife Allison and his three children, Valentine, Cordelia, and Julian. Congratulations, Brian Mullins, founder, DAQRI.
Thank you.
The kids didn't make it tonight. It's an honor to receive this award tonight. I want to take a moment to thank the board members and staff of IS Associates, with a special thanks to Don and Debbie, who spent so much time to really get to know me and DAQRI. Thank you for that. I want to thank the incredible DAQRI team, especially Ben Evans, who nominated me. And I want to thank my amazing family and friends, whose support I couldn't do any of this without. And especially my wife, Allison. Thank you. When I was asked to give a talk on leadership tonight, my first instinct was to quote some of my favorite authors on leadership and to share quotes that might get some laughs and would hopefully make you think. But as I learned more about IS Associates, I read about the dedication to effective management and understanding of information systems. And I actually realized that the best way for me to give back to the group tonight was probably to talk about augmented reality. And that's not a surprise since I started an AR company. But it's a technology that should be on the radar of everyone in the room. And that's because of its ability to empower people. And so I'm going to share a little bit about AR, how I think about leadership, and I'm going to share some stories that will hopefully help you understand why I do what I do and why I'm so excited about the future. A leader's job is to remove limits. And limits come in all shapes and sizes. Don't color outside the lines. You have to be tall to play basketball. Those toys are for boys. We're programmed to accept limits too easily, and even seemingly benign ones pave the path to more malignant ones later. You're not smart enough. Your people don't belong here. Be realistic. But limits aren't real. And there's a lot of ways to define what limits are, and that's probably part of the problem. But to me, it's always been things that hold people back. Things perceived as absolutes, barriers that you can't go across, but they're not real. The speed limit is a great example of that. It's not a limit in the sense that if I'm going 55 miles an hour and I push on the gas, bam, 56, like magic. And you can say that it's probably a good idea to go the speed limit. You can say that maybe the engine can only take you so fast or the transmission, but those are just constraints. You can change those things. So, what holds us back? What is it that actually keeps us from changing what we do? It's fear. Limits are the normalization of fears that hold us back. And it's more obvious when it's a dictator subduing a population through force and manipulation, but it's less obvious when it's ourselves because it adds up over time. Do what you're told, get in line, conform. It's all about what we're afraid of. Imagine a world where we didn't have those fears. What could we accomplish? What could we do? But how do we remove fears when they're so ingrained in our minds and in our society that we don't even recognize what they are? I think part of the answer to that is augmented reality. Now, a lot of you might have only experienced augmented reality on your phones catching monsters. And I hope that when we leave tonight, you're going to learn that augmented reality is actually about so much more. And I've been in the field for almost 10 years now. And augmented reality is extremely powerful because it's about people. It's human-centric. You could read a book about chemistry, or you could hold it in your hands. But it's about so much more. And we've seen augmented reality used in real-world applications to solve real-world problems by revealing things that you couldn't see before, by helping you to interact with information and share ideas in a whole new way. augmented reality bridges the gap between the physical world and the abstract world. In the physical world, we have this intuition that we can apply, these pattern matching to solve problems. And augmented reality lets you take these abstract ideas and to put them in the real world so that you can understand the context better. You can not just share content, you can actually share knowledge. And this isn't just hypothetical. This isn't just what might be in the future. We've seen it in study after study. Ours, independent academic studies. And let me tell you about one study that we did with Siemens Corporation, where we took just one part of a gas turbine power plant assembly. Now, with traditional methods, it took 8 hours of classroom time and over 450 minutes to complete this step. And all of that was because you had to teach the workers in a way where they didn't have to worry about making a mistake. And with augmented reality, it didn't require the classroom training at all. In fact, you could get right to work with AR, and the average worker, whether they were experienced or a novice, finished it in less than 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Not only did they complete it faster, they got to work faster with fewer errors. And they told the researchers that they felt safer because of it. So having the knowledge when you need it actually made you feel safer. It removed the fear. Now, about the same time in my life, my second son was born. This is Valentine. He's an amazing boy. He's brilliant. He's curious. And one of the scariest moments in my life was when he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy. And I remember his mother and I searched for treatment options and what we could do. And we were fortunate enough to be connected with the head of pediatric neurology at one of the best hospitals in the world. And an appointment that lasted less than 15 minutes, we were told, as far as CP goes, it's not that bad. You should feel lucky. He'll never walk. And one of the biggest regrets in my life is that when I walked out of that appointment, I almost accepted that. And thankfully, my son and my wife showed me how wrong that I was. We were lucky enough to find Dr. Park at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And he was performing a revolutionary procedure for children with CP. Valentine would have spinal surgery, and they would open his spine, they would find the nerves that were spastic, and they would cut them so that his brain could make new connections. And it was a success. And now Valentine walks. And if you ask him about it, he'll tell you all about it. This procedure has been performed for over a decade. The head of pediatric neurology at one of the best hospitals in the world didn't know about a transformative procedure in their specialty. And it's not their fault. They dedicate their life to saving lives and to helping people. If they knew, they would have told us. So what was the problem? The problem was that the knowledge wasn't being transferred. People weren't learning about this procedure. And I remember how helpless that made me feel. And I thought in the only way that I could is what could augmented reality do to something like this? How could it transform the medical industry? And what I found was that surgery is over $2 trillion a year, almost 3, but it's only available to less than 1/3 of the people on the planet. That means over 5 billion people don't have access to basic surgical care. And if you're one of those 5 billion people and you need your appendix removed, you die. You die. That's more people than cancer or traffic accidents combined. And you can argue, you can say, can augmented reality make the best surgeon in the world better? I think it's clear the data says that we can, but we don't have to make that argument. All we have to do is make it available to students who are learning a procedure for the first time, or existing surgeons that are learning new procedures. And once that data starts to flow in augmented reality, we can start to make it available to clinicians or Good Samaritans anywhere in the world when they need it. And it's not just about one industry. It could be about anything that we learn. That ability to learn anything just by putting on a pair of glasses, I think it could transform how we work and how we live every day. And I'll tell you one last story before I go that gives me more hope than almost anything that we've done, that augmented reality can play a significant role in taking away limits from people. And last year, I had the honor to meet representatives of the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians. And their director of development for the tribe saw augmented reality as a way to help their people access jobs on tribal lands or in neighboring communities. They're a community of over 10,000 people, and the tribe members couldn't access those jobs because they didn't have the skills that they needed. And they had one of the best tribal schools in North America, and even though they didn't teach programming in any way, James Robinson, the head of development, wanted to make sure that they programmed and learned to program their own augmented reality. And he wanted to do that because they wanted to be able to share anything they made with any of the other tribes that wanted to help their people learn new skills as well. And one of the things that we did this year was a pilot at the technical college there. And over the course of 1 week, the students who had never learned to program before created augmented reality work instructions to teach electrical technicians how to perform maintenance on electrical circuits. And here you'll see James learning, that's Kobe, who programmed the work instructions, and James learning how to assemble electrical circuits for the first time with content that they made all within the tribe. I think that when you look at augmented reality and the ability to put on a device and potentially learn to do any job, it can transform the way that we think about ourselves and the limits around us, and really start to realize that the only limits that really hold us back are the ones that we're willing to accept. And as leaders, hopefully we can make it so that our people don't accept any of those limits. So, thank you.
All right, I'm tearing up a little bit here. Frank, I'd like to invite you back up for your award tonight. Thank you, Frank, for leading us through tonight's activities and bringing some good humor in the light of things. It's little but mighty.
Oh. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
And Don, you're here. I'd like to commend Don for being an amazing executive director and an enormous leader. The man will do anything to make something a success, even putting together a seating chart for tonight's event. So, Don, please close us out.
Clearly you need somebody to blame for the seating, okay? Well, I get that. And yes, that is me under that helmet. I'm not trying to compete with Deputy Mayor Sangaling. I just wanted Brian and the DAQRI team to know that I'm all in on augmented reality. So the planning committee gave me the last word, so I feel a little bit like Lawrence O'Donnell at the moment. But really, all I really want to do is thank a bunch of people, starting with our three honorees, Brian, John, and Mayor Garcetti. This has been an outstanding Executive Leadership Award event. And the innovative and amazingly unique ways in which you are all applying technology in your respective segments is just amazing. So it's been a truly great event for me personally, and I really thank you and congratulate you all. Also, I'd like to take just a quick minute and thank Frank Motek. Frank has become a very close friend of the IS Associates over the last several years. He's participated in a number of these events. And Frank, you always bring a good amount of humor and insight to the task. So I really appreciate it on behalf of the associates. Thank you very much. I also want to thank our sponsors, Workday and Laserfish. These events cannot happen without the financial support of our sponsors, and so we appreciate the generous support of Workday and Laserfish. These events can be extremely challenging, and we decided this year that we would try to take this event to the next level. And so I want to congratulate and thank Debbie and the entire planning committee on putting together what I think has been probably the best Executive Leadership Award event we've had. So congratulations and thank you to Debbie and her committee. Planning is one thing, and that's very, very hard, and it was this year. But I think executing on it is maybe even more challenging. So I think the committee owes the entire OIT staff a huge debt of gratitude, especially our program manager, Rafi Simonian, and the entire OIT team under the managing director, Davida Johnson. So thank you guys very much. I can tell you unequivocally that all the way up until late this afternoon, Rafi was dealing with late registrations, AV issues, you name it, and he was just an absolute pro, thought of everything, and made it all work. So Rafi, thank you so much for all of your fine work. I'd like to also thank each and every one of you, our attendees. The attendance is really the best metric we have for defining our success at our programs. We put on 8 programs a year, and attendance is crucial. So obviously, by just looking around the room, we hit some high water marks this evening with attendance. So I thank each of you for sharing your evenings with us, fighting through the traffic, as Frank pointed out. It was truly an amazing year for the IS Associates. We did hit good attendance numbers on almost every one of our events this year. We're very much looking forward to 2018. We have many new ideas that we're kicking around to try and make our content even more accessible to everyone, including having more morning meetings, which we found to be very successful, and we're going to try and push out a couple of our meetings to the regions and bring the content closer to you guys, so you don't have to make your way through LA traffic to get to the UCLA campus. So I hope that each of you will consider attending one or more events next year. We think we offer the best networking and IT educational opportunities of any organization similar to ours. So we hope that you'll take us up on that. So really, on behalf of our 2017 and 2018 executive chairs, Jim Rinaldi and Ron Guerrier, and the entire IS Associates board, I just want to wish you all a fantastic Thanksgiving and a happy and warm holiday season and a healthy and prosperous 2018. So thank you very much for everything, and I'm sorry we didn't build in a Q&A piece to this tonight. It was a huge oversight. No, I'm just joking. I know that our recipients will be able to spend a bit of time after the event if you want to come up and have some questions for them. So with that, I'll just say thank you and drive carefully.